Are you ready to expand your life and reality? Join us for the next hour with Jamie Bates as she shares life-changing thoughts, techniques, and awarenesses to help you expand your reality.
Hello and welcome. I am Jamie Bates, consciousness facilitator and expander of realities. My mission with my radio show is to create greater awareness of what is possible and to expand you beyond the limitations of this reality. I am grateful that you are joining me today. And today I have a special show for you. Today I'm talking about 2 magic words you can use to change anything. Now, I know we probably have all gone through a period in our life where we excessively said these words, and we went through another period where we decided to stop using them altogether. And somewhere in there became this place where we weren't allowed to use them anymore. We weren't allowed to really speak them, and even the thought of saying them brings up a lot of kind of angst and upset in our bodies. I've been working closely with a few clients recently and really getting them to start speaking these words again, and the powerful impact that it has on their life when they're used in the correct manner. And so today I wanted to dive into that. I really want to bring the magic back of these words. I really want you to get into the space where you are using them with the people that you love, and you're using them in even situations to really allow the situation to change into ease without having to fight against it or defend it or be in anger with it, and just really use these words as the magical, powerful words they truly can be. So before I reveal the words, which you may potentially already have an idea of what I'm talking about, we're going to go ahead and expand out today. So go ahead and take some nice deep breaths. Yeah, and let's put our barriers down, our barriers down, our barriers down, our barriers down. And let's go ahead and expand out. Make yourself as big as the state that you're in, all the way out, and all the way down, and all the way up. And we're just expanding out your being. If you've never expanded before, you're just going to allow your being to expand, not your body. And go ahead and make yourself as big as the country that you're in, all the way out, and all the way down, and all the way up. And you don't actually have to do anything. You just have to listen to the words. Your being will expand on its own. And out as big as the planet that we're all on. Bigger, faster, bigger, faster, bigger, faster. In the universe. Yeah, nice deep breath. In the multiverse, multiple universes. Times that by million. Times that by million. Times that by million. All the way out to the space of who you be as the infinite being that you be. Yeah, nice deep breath. So today, really looking at these 2 magical words. What words could I possibly be talking about? Today I'm talking about the words I'm sorry. About really using these words to start cultivating different relationships in your life, to start really allowing yourself to surrender to this place where you have been defending and pulling and pushing against things in your life that don't actually work for you, and really getting into the true space of just allowing things to be what they are and really stop solidifying the past. You know, so many of us get stuck in this place where we are continually defending what used to be, right? We're stuck in these energies where we're stuck in this push-pull where it's like we have to uphold these anger and this, we have to defend against the righteousness of who we are. And we actually don't really have to. Isn't that great news? That you don't actually really have to defend against anyone or anything. You don't have to defend your actions. You don't have to defend other people's actions. You don't have to resist what other people choose. You don't have to react to what other people choose. And adding "I'm sorry" to your vocabulary can actually create an energy where you don't actually have to fight against anyone or anything. And the magic of "I'm sorry" is you don't even really have to be sorry to say it. But when you say it, when those words come out of your mouth, what starts to happen is things start to change. Instead of fighting against people, instead of fighting against energies, instead of fighting against things that you hate, when you just surrender to it and say, you know what, I'm sorry, can't do this anymore. I can't fight against, I can't make you wrong, I can't uphold my rightness, I can't even defend your rightness any longer. I have to surrender and I have to say, I'm sorry for all of this, I'm sorry for everything it's caused. And all of a sudden, life changes. Things that were once difficult get easier and easier. Relationships you had that you had a lot of strife with, instead of trying to figure out who was right and wrong and who was good and bad and who did what, and all you got to do is say, you know what, I'm sorry. I'm sorry all that even happened. Because it isn't even worth upholding those energies any longer. Everything all of that is, and everything all of that brings up, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes, and can we just choose that now? It's everything all of that is. Vaporize, 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 vaporize. And all we're doing here is we're just clearing the energy. It's this place where you're stuck, right? You're paralyzed and no, I can't apologize. It's so-and-so's fault. It's all their fault, right? And you're stuck upholding those energies. What if we could melt through that? What if it doesn't even really matter anymore? Yeah, that right there. And we're just going to follow that energy all the way down and all the way through. And all the way down and all the way through. And all the way down and all the way through. And everything all of that is right there. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? Vaporize, 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 vaporize. Nice deep breath. Where is everywhere. You can't possibly apologize. That right there, and let's go all the way down and all the way through and all the way down and all the way through and all the way down and all the way through. Everything, all of that is, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes, and can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. I feel like we get so stuck in upholding the stuff we hate, right? And trying to fight for the righteousness of it, right? And the defending the right and wrong paradigms within all of it, that we forget that. What if nothing has anything to do with you at all? What if everything you're upholding has to do with structures and constructs and agreements from the past? And what if none of it even really matters anymore? Everything, all of that is right there. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. I had a group call last night, and in one of the audios I sent this week to them was talking about the places where, like, what if everything you've even done in your life, I can't remember what the name of the audio was, but it was basically talking about how, the actions that you've done in your life, what if you're not even doing those actions for yourself? What if you're doing those actions for others? And what if we're just all upholding these different actions and reactions because we have, things to accomplish this lifetime, and we have things to finish, and that, none of it even has to do with anything in the present moment. And we were talking about that audio, and everyone was talking about how, like, life-changing that is to really look at it from that aspect. What if whatever argument you're upholding right now, what if it doesn't even have anything to do with the argument? What if it has more to do with all of this past life stuff where you have been stuck in the defense energy, or the righteousness energy, or the alignment energy? And what if what other people are choosing has absolutely, positively nothing to do with you? What if it's about their journey? And what if it's about what's going on for them and the constructs that they're in? And what if you're just aware of it all? And everything all of that is, and all the shaky stupidity, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy fog around all of this. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Just letting that energy shift and change so you can see that you do have a different possibility. I know there was a time in my life personally, and I'm sure that you can probably identify with this as well, as when I'm sorry came out of my mouth all the time. Like, it didn't matter what I was doing. Oh, I dropped something on the floor. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I forgot to do something. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I was always, always, always apologizing. And then there came a time in my life where I decided, you know what? No, I'm going to stop apologizing, right? Because, we know that, like, apologizing in that form is very disempowering, right? You don't have to apologize for who you are, and the simple things you do on a day-to-day basis. When I'm sorry is necessary, it's necessary, but somewhere we turned that I'm sorry off, and we decided that we never have to apologize for who we are. And I get that, and I'm not saying that you ever have to apologize for who you are. But at some point we turned the I'm sorry off in such a dynamic way that we forgot that sometimes I'm sorry is required, especially by those we love. And we've been fighting and arguing about something. I'm sorry is necessary to change the energy. When I started really going through my awakening, and I started really looking at the choice of words I was using, one of the things I deeply started to understand was that if someone did something to hurt my feelings and I brought it to their attention and they said I'm sorry, I could let it go, right? I could move on with my life easily, right? If my husband made me angry, or or whatever, and I brought it and said, I don't want to react this way anymore. I don't want to be this person anymore, and please, help me, align with me. Let's do this together. And he, surrendered and said, you know what, you're right, I'm sorry. It was like all of a sudden it was like I was free. I was free, right? But if he defended it and kept going, oh, but blah 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 blah, then I had to, like, uphold these energies of, like, I have to fight against you, right? I like, it's almost like you have to. And so around and around we would go until I just got up to a place in myself where I said, you know what, that's fine. I'll just apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all of this, and I'm letting it go, and I'm moving forward with my life. And I started really opening up this dialogue in my life where I started saying, I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't like this person that's continually fighting against, that's continually arguing, that's continually, going back and forth for the right and the wrong and the good and the bad. And I don't want to be this person that's upholding all these energies of making other people wrong and telling them, well, you did this in the past and it hurt my feelings and I can't move forward. I didn't want to be that person anymore. I didn't want to uphold those energies anymore. And so I just started speaking that out loud. You know what? This actually doesn't work for me. I really don't want to be this person anymore. I'm sorry. I'm surrendering to who this used to be and who you used to engage with in these energies. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be that person anymore. And the deeper and deeper I went into that, and not apologizing for who I am, but apologizing for who I used to be. And realizing that in that apology, I was setting that person free. I no longer had to uphold who that person was. I no longer had to follow that person any longer. I got to be free of her. I got to set her down and walk away. Everything that doesn't allow that for you, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Take a nice deep breath. We're really moving a lot of energy today, so where's everywhere you can't possibly apologize? That right there. Go all the way out, and 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 all the way out. And everything, all of that is, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And nice deep breath. And just let it go. What if you can apologize? What if you can say you're sorry for what's happened in the past? What if you can surrender within that apology so deeply that you can create ripples of change in your life? When you decide to stop fighting against someone or something and you just decide to say, I'm sorry instead, creates ripples of differentness. It can be felt throughout your whole body and your whole being. When instead of fighting against, you just surrender and say, you know what, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for who I used to be. I'm sorry for what I used to say, but I no longer want to uphold those energies anymore. I'm sorry. I'm moving on without it. I'm letting it go. I'm releasing it from my being, giving myself the space to create something different. And just breathe that in for a moment. And where is anywhere that you are upholding any defense? Everything, all of that is right there. All of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Yeah, and really just allow that vortex to go all the way through. Where's a situation recently in your life that you are really looping in, where you are really defending the rightness of your point of view? I want you to go to that situation right now. And I want you to look at all of these energies that you are upholding of you being right and them being wrong. I want you to put those to one side. And I want you to also look at the energies of where you feel like you have to uphold these energies of like almost like there's like a police energy within that. It's like the righteousness of this reality, right? Like you have to uphold that. This is the rules, kid. We have to follow them to a T. Whereas everywhere you have to follow all of the rules to the T. There's no possible way you can bend or manipulate or you will break everything. All of that is right there, and all of that, 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 everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. So go back to that situation at hand. Really feel into all of the different aspects of it. You know, one of the things I was talking about last night in my group, which I think is a difficult concept to grasp initially first, but I think when you get it, it really opens you up to a different viewpoint within this reality. Is okay. So if I'm angry with someone, right? And I'm upholding this anger every time I think about that person. I'm gonna think about that situation, right? I'm gonna think about that moment of anger that I had with them, or guilt, or and I was actually using the situation of I felt really guilty for my children when they were growing up, right? I felt really guilty about a lot of things. I felt guilty about them being products of divorce. I felt and so whenever I looked at them, I felt sad, right? I felt sad and guilty because of the things that they had quote unquote been through. Well, what that actually creates then is I'm holding sad and guilty energy around them. Every time I look at them, I'm upholding this sad and guilty energy of them, right? So then when they interact with me, what they're aware of is that like I feel sad and guilty. But what they internalize that as is a completely different thing. What they internalize that as is maybe I'm disappointed in them. Maybe I feel sad about who they are. Um, maybe I have this like layer between us because I'm trying to protect them. So I'm actually cutting them off. Like I don't know if I'm using good examples here. All of the Shikyu stupidity, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness energy fog around all of this. Yeah, and all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Yeah, and just let that go. So what actually ends up happening is they start internalizing that sadness and that guiltiness, right? And then they start feeling guilty and sad, even though that's the complete and total opposite of what I want to create for them. It's the same thing with any upset. So if you're angry with someone and you're continuously upholding anger towards that person, when they think of you, they're instantaneously going to be angry with you. And you're never going to change that. You're always going to be fighting against, or they're going to be fighting against. You're always going to be defending. You're always going to be fighting within that energy, unless you surrender to the I'm sorry. And then all of a sudden, it's like the gates open, right? All of a sudden, the energy can move through, and the stuckness no longer exists. The places where you were upholding these energies that were no longer changeable are now changeable. And all of a sudden, you're both free. Take a nice deep breath, and everything that doesn't allow that, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And more space, more space, more space, more space, more space, more space, more space. And where's everywhere that you can't possibly say you're sorry? Everything, all of that is all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. What is everything that you've decided saying you're sorry means? Everything, all of that is go all the way out and all the way down and all the way out and all the way down. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And what is everything that you have decided saying you're sorry means? And everything, all of that is all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Where is everywhere you can't possibly apologize? Everything, all of that is all of that, 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 all of that. Everything, all of that is getting less and less. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. So now that we've had a little bit of time to kind of process through that, can you see where a lot of these places where we're upholding, and I know that earlier we kind of put a situation out there, right? And then we didn't really go back to it, but where you're upholding those energies, where you're actually projecting at the person the very thing that you don't desire. Let's go back to that situation again. Where is everywhere you're upholding defense about this? Right there. And everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. I know that it can be really hard in the beginning. I know it can be really hard to start really actively saying that you're sorry. But one of the things that I really get about apologizing is when you get to a place in your life where you are no longer really willing to be that space anymore, where you're really no longer willing to be angry or feel guilty or uphold sadness, right? When you get to a place where you're just emotionally done with feeling the way that you have been feeling, I'm sorry is really kind of a pivotal energy that starts actually really creating things showing up differently and very fast too. Because the thing about saying I'm sorry is it kind of cancels out the places where you have been stuck in these energies where you've been upholding things that aren't fun, right? Where you've been sitting in energies that are heavy and hard and upsetting. Yeah, and everything that doesn't allow you to have that space. All of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of your universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Yeah, more space, more space, more space, more space, more space, more space, more space. I feel like there's a lot of fog here today. There's a lot of energies that are upholding against this, right? Like all these places where it's like, oh, it's not my job to say I'm sorry. Oh, it's not my fault. Why would I apologize? And I get that. I totally do. But when we look at that situation again, what part are you playing in that? That right there. And more information, more information, more information, more information. And everything, all of that is, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? Be prize, see 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 prize. You know, a few years ago, me and my husband had kind of a falling out with my husband's mother. And I think I've actually talked about this in one of my other shows before, but um, she insisted on continually telling us the things in our life that she hated all the time, the way we acted, how she didn't like it, how it like it wasn't acceptable. It was always things like, you should do that, this, um if you do this, it means this. And it was like, no, but it doesn't really. It was this constant battle of her always continually projecting at us that we were making decisions about our own life that weren't right. And when we would bring that to her attention, like, when you tell me the way that I'm raising my children isn't acceptable, that doesn't actually work for me, right? Like, I'm not gonna be angry with your choice to say that, because that doesn't actually create more. And I'm not gonna fight against it. I'm not gonna defend your actions, and I'm not gonna defend my actions. The reality is this is what I'm choosing for my life. And so it was this constant battle of her always being in this place where it was like, oh, well, you shouldn't do this, because if you do this, it means this. And it was just always interjecting what her viewpoint was, and how the way that we were living our life wasn't acceptable according to what she had deemed acceptable in her life, right? And so various times, it wasn't even like, me or my husband, neither one of us were even angry at any point. It was just like, listen, like, you know you're not making it very easy for us to be around you, because you're continually telling us how the way that we live our life doesn't work for you. And the news flash here is the way that we want to live our life is the way that we're going to live our life. And whether you choose to agree with that or not really doesn't have any effect on me, right? It's really not like, you don't have to agree with the way that I live my life, but I'm willing to still be present around you, even though you don't agree with the way that I live my life. But I'm not going to be present if you're going to continue to make me wrong, right? If you're always going to put me in this place where it's like, well, you do this and you shouldn't do this, and that's not acceptable, and why are you doing that? And always this energy of like, I worry about this, and why are you making that choice, and that's not a good choice, and you shouldn't do that. And it was just continually hammered energy of that projection, right? And so it got to a certain point where we had said several times, like, look, like, we're more than happy to come around, but we can't be present if this is the energy that you're always going to be. And honestly, all she really had to do in that instance was go, you know what, you're right, I'm sorry, I am trying to tell you how to live your life, and I understand, that it's your life. Or, I mean, she didn't even have to really go into that much depth, right? All she really had to say was, you're right, I'm sorry. Or not even, I guess, not even say you're right. All she had to really say was, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that. But instead, what she continued to do was fight and defend the righteousness of her point of view, right? She continued to come back with, oh, well, I don't understand, this is this and that is that, and you're wrong and I'm right. And so over and over, we went back and forth with, like, listen, I'm not even saying that you're wrong here. I'm saying that you're completely 100% entitled to your opinion. Absolutely, positively, you can have your opinion. But I'm not going to sit here and listen to your opinion about my life when I've already told you that this is the choices that we're going to make. And if that's not okay with you and you feel like you have to continually make us wrong, then we're not going to continue to be present. So we had made a choice at that point that we were going to not be around that energy anymore, because it wasn't fun for any of us to go hang out with in-laws and my husband's family, and the whole time we're there to have someone continually tell us how they're disappointed in this action, and how disappointing it is that we let our kids not eat meat, and how disappointing it is that we let one of our daughters dye her hair, and how disappointing it is that we chose to do this instead of what she suggested, and how upsetting it is. And it was just like this continuous badgering of energy of, this is why you disappoint me. And I get it coming from a mom standpoint, that what she was actually trying to do was, in her mind, was quote unquote make us better, I guess. And I get that. I totally can see that. And so as a fellow mom, I even said to her, listen, like, by doing this, all you're doing is like pushing us further away. Like, you have to get that, like, we're grown adults, right? We get to choose what we want to do in our life. And if that's not okay with you, like, that's if you can't move beyond it, then we're not going to be able to come over here anymore, because none of us want to come over here and listen to you continually tell us how wrong we are, right? And so instead of apologizing or even taking even in what I said into consideration, what she did was, she continued to fight me about it. And so we got to a point where we said, you know what, we're not going to go over there anymore. That doesn't actually work for us. And so me and my husband both told her that. And then she sent me this email and said, how would you feel if your children grow up and they refuse to come and see you? Wouldn't you be upset? And I thought about that for a really long time. And I emailed her back, and I really felt like it was an email that I really put a lot of understanding in. And I said, if I get to a point in my life where, when my kids grow up and they want to bring their family over, and if all I do is tell their family how disappointed I am and how upset I am with their life choices, and how you know how just basically how wrong I feel like everything that they're doing in their life is, and they choose to not come to see me anymore, I guess I will be completely understanding of that. Because one of the things I have really found is freedom in my life is giving my children allowance to choose whatever it is that they want to choose, right? And it's brought me such an amazing space of lightness to be able to raise them with the idea that there isn't a right and wrong, there's only choice. And I apologized to her, and I said, I'm truly sorry if you feel like what I'm creating in my life is so disappointing for you. Even though I could have gotten angry, I could have gotten mad, I could have told her all kinds of things, but I didn't. I apologized to that woman for not coming around anymore. And I apologized for pulling out of her life, because I get that she's so functioning in a space where she feels like she has to defend the rightness of her point of view, that she doesn't even get really what's truly going on. And I explained the best I could by really maintaining space and really letting her know that the decision wasn't even really about her. It was really about me and about my children and about my husband, and about how verbal abuse was continually affecting us. And I didn't say her actions, right? And here's the thing about really looking at all of this. Like, I totally get that she's functioning in a space where she feels like that is her only option. And I understand that where she's functioning at right now is true for her. And I don't have to make her any wronger than she already feels. And so I apologized, and I apologized some more, and I apologized again. And I sent her that email. And, the only thing that she sent back, well, she didn't send me anything back. She sent my husband something basically saying that she was disappointed in the fact that her her daughter-in-law was so mad at her and was so angry, and again she internalized it into making her wrong instead of really seeing the experience that her actions were creating in our life. And honestly, really all that would have been required in all of that was her an email back that said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm creating that feeling in your life. I'm sorry I'm making you feel that way." I mean, she didn't even have to go that far, right? But we all have those people in our lives that instead of really getting the energy of what they're creating, and I think that we've all been that person as well, right? We've all been that person where instead of getting the energy that we're creating for someone, we continually defend the rightness of our point of view instead of surrendering and really apologizing for the space that we created for them. Everything that doesn't allow that for you, and everything all of that is, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And nice deep breath. We're only here for a very short time. And right now we're going through this amazing process of waking up to the things we've created in our life that we don't like anymore, the patterns we've done, the decisions we've made, the the upsets we've caused. And really, it's really simple to change all of them. And the only thing that's standing you in the way of that and you is your ability to say, you know what, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I caused that for you. I'm sorry I created that. I'm sorry I did that. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like the way that that feels. I don't like what that creates. I don't like what that what that does to our relationship. I don't I don't want to create this anymore. And everything that doesn't allow that for you. All of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. A nice deep breath. We are in a very powerful time of ascension. We are in a very powerful time of surrender. We are in a very powerful time of change. And the faster that we all realize that everything that is going on in our life is a product of the spaces and places we've been in the past. And if we don't like those spaces and places any longer, we can change that. We have the capacity, we have the awareness, we have the information that's required. And everything, all of that is, and everything that's in the way of that right there. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? Vaporize, 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 vaporize. Now is the time to create life as something different. Now is the time to have that continuous expansion of who you be. Now is the time to surrender to the energies that no longer work. And those two magical words, I'm sorry, has all of that capacity within them to create that major change that you're looking for in your life. Now is the time to choose something different. Now is the time to show up different. Now is the time to show this world, to show your reality that you can choose to be different. You do not have to stay the same. I have some pretty cool things going on currently in my business, and I would love to have you join me if you're ready. If you're really ready to have something different, if you're ready to show up differently, if you're ready for your life to be different, please join me in something. I have an amazing cosmic connection starting in just a few weeks where really going to align you with the relationship that you desire. If you're looking for a relationship, if you're looking for that true love, that soulmate to come into your life, now is the time to choose that. I've been helping clients align with their soul's match for quite some time. I have quite a few women currently who are just entering into the relationship that they've always desired. And you know, the thing about relationships that you've always desired is there's a space of ease there that doesn't exist within other relationships, and you know it right away when you find that soul's match, when you find that frequency, when you find that cosmic connection. It's ease. So if you're ready for relationship ease, I have that starting at the very beginning of February 2019. I also have some groups starting here really soon. I'm going to be doing a parenting 101 class where if you're really ready to get into a different place with the parents, being a parent, all the constructs around parenting, if you're ready for a relationship with your kids to show up differently, the parenting class will be starting. And I'm also going to have a relationship class as well. And this will be for the people who are married, who are looking for something different. Those are going to be coming really soon. But right now you can also sign up for my group coaching experience, which is massive life change, which you will come out the other side a complete and total different person. Right now I have coaching groups in different areas, anywhere from about 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, to almost done like 12 weeks in. And I can tell you that when you enter into this, your life is going to change massively. So if you're really looking for that life change, if you're really done being stuck and the same cycle of perpetrating the same patterns over and over, and you're ready for something different, please join me. I know that these radio shows may be creating some change for you, but I promise you there's much deeper change that is available. And when you step into that, the ease that your life starts to become is really palpable. I also have my Patreon set up now, where for as little as $9.99 a month, you can get additional clearing audios. These are older programs that I've done in the past that have really created massive change for people, and now you can get them for as little as $9.99 a month, and you can really start listening and really changing the way that your life is showing up for only $10 a month. So you can visit that at, you can look at any of my things on my website at www.jamie-bates.com. You can find my Patreon on there. You can find information about my classes that I have coming up, and you can really learn how to surrender into a life that works for you. Yeah, it's time, people. It's time to be more space of you. It's time to be more space of ease. It's time to really let go of these things that are causing the strife and the upset in your life, and it's time to really choose beyond. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and I will talk to you next week. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.
You have been listening to Expand Your Reality with your host, Jamie Bates. Thank you for listening.